here's a quick video on why I personally do not save in dollars. Now, first of all, let's go over the problem with US dollars, right? So there's no fixed supply, number one, right? So that causes inflation and tons of it. Since 1970, the US dollar has lost, I don't even know how much of its value, but it's a lot. Like, you could barely do nothing, right? Like, you could buy a house back in the 50s, I believe, for $5,000, right? Somewhere around there. And nowadays, the same house would cost $1.2 million, right? Now, I'm talking about like houses in Cali, but still, like 5K for a house back in the 50s that now costs $1.2 million. Yeah, something's not really adding up. Wages have not kept up with recent inflation at all. And I'm starting to feel it as a 20-year-old. Like, it's just getting hard out here. It's like you get a job in Chicago, right? The minimum wage is $15 an hour. What are you doing with $15 an hour? Not much. I could tell you that. Okay, but let's stay on track here. So, right, that's the first thing is inflation. And so inflation is caused when the government prints a bunch of money and it adds money into circulation. That causes inflation. More money in circulation, stuff costs more money because now people have more money, right? Lower interest rates equals more money being printed because more people are borrowing money. So that also causes inflation, I would say. That's why the Fed is always struggling with inflation, because it's like a balance. It's like you can't have interest rates too high, because if your interest rates are too high, then that could cause something called deflation, which for the economy is kind of bad, because if there's deflation, nobody is spending money. If nobody's spending money, there's no need for anybody to work because nothing's being bought or sold. So, right, so you need to have a little bit of inflation, but that's the key here, is to get that balance, right? You need that balance, and that's very hard to accomplish, at least from what it looks like. I don't really know that much. I'm just a random 20-year-old on YouTube. I'm not an economist or anything like that, but just from what I know and from my research and from my experience, that's what it seems like, right? So you have all this money being printed and put into circulation, and your hard-earned dollars are being stolen from you, right? Not physically, not in the physical sense. Nobody's coming up to your pockets and taking them out of your pockets, but the government is printing more money, causing your dollars to be worth less, right? So you go to the grocery store, you definitely feel that. You go get gas, you definitely feel that, right? So that's the first thing that Bitcoin solves, and I'll get to how it solves it and why it solves it in this video. So the next bullet point is how I discovered Bitcoin, right? I discovered Bitcoin back in 2018. I was somewhere in like 7th or 8th grade. I got my hands on a Bitcoin miner, right? Just a little hobbyist one. And I saved up my money. It was like a couple $100, and it was just the coolest thing in the world to me, right? Now, I was pretty young to be getting into Bitcoin and stuff. Like 7th, 8th grade is kind of crazy. I was getting into this stuff back then. And no, I'm not rich. I didn't hold any Bitcoin. I didn't really make that much at all. I was just kind of mining and selling as I went. But if I had held it, yeah, I would probably be sitting in a Lambo or something right now. But I didn't. So whatever. You live and you learn, right? But that's how I first discovered it, was mining and proof of work, which really intrigued me because it was like you could plug in this little computer and you were making passive income basically, which is very cool. You just plug something in and it basically earns you money, pays you, right? Sounds too good to be true, but it's not too good to be true. But nowadays, if you're a hobbyist, it's extremely hard to get into it because Bitcoin miners have evolved. Now they're on 220 volt. Now they're just way more higher powered, way more noisy. So it's like, it's very hard to get into it. Now it costs thousands of dollars. But back then you could get into it as a hobbyist, you know? And it was pretty easy. But yeah, that's basically how I discovered Bitcoin, was just going online, and I found Bitcoin mining, and I was like, what is this? It's like so cool that I could just be making passive income. What I really like about Bitcoin, and what made Bitcoin personally click for me in my head, was the fact that it was deflationary, right? So what does that mean? That means that there's only a fixed supply. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and there only ever will be 21 million Bitcoin, because that is what's written in the code. Now, for Bitcoin, this is a good thing, right? as opposed to the US economy, how I was saying that was a bad thing for the US economy. In Bitcoin terms, this is good. Now, why is this good? Because it means when you buy it, most likely the value will go up, right? Because there's less and less of it. And none of this is financial advice, guys. None of this is financial advice. Please don't sue me. But the price usually goes up because there's less of it, right? It's simple supply and demand, right? Even if every millionaire in the world wanted to buy one Bitcoin, it's not possible. It's not possible. If you combine all the millionaires in the world, each of them cannot own a single Bitcoin. It's not possible. So what that kind of makes me think is, this is pretty cool, right? Like not everyone can own it, so the value must keep going up, right? And another thing is it doesn't need the internet to operate. A lot of people say, what if the internet gets shut down? But if the internet gets shut down, Bitcoin's like the last thing you need to worry about. If the internet gets shut down, basically nothing's going to work. Your credit card's not going to work. Your bank's not going to work. Nothing's going to work, right? But no, Bitcoin will still work. It'll just need to find another platform, or it'll just need to find another platform to run on. Like it could run on radio waves. It could run on basically anything, right? It just needs to be able to validate the nodes and the transactions on chain. So that's what it really needs. As the blockchain is communicating, then it can work without the internet as well. Now, what my strategy personally is for Bitcoin is I'm not really a trader. I'm not that big into trading or anything like that. I will trade here and there, but I don't make my full-time income from trading. It's nowhere near full-time income levels. But DCAing would be the best way to get into Bitcoin. Just putting like a small portion of your check into it. That's kind of like what I do with crypto. That's kind of what I do, right? Is my strategy is to just like, put $1 here, put $1 there, a few bucks here. Like on Cash App, you have the ability to round up your transactions to the nearest dollar. So when it rounds up, it puts that into Bitcoin automatically for me on the Cash App. So that's what I do. Also, what you can do is take a portion of your check, just put a percentage of it into Bitcoin as well. And why I love DCAing is because you don't need to think about it. You just do it, right? The market's down, you buy. The market's up, you buy, and you don't need to time anything, right? It's the easiest method ever. There's no need to time anything. There's no need to time anything. You just kind of is just there. It's just mindless, brainless activity. Now, another important thing to know about Bitcoin or crypto in general, is you need to have a cold wallet, right? You never want to keep your crypto on an exchange. And why, you may ask? Well, exchanges can get shut down, or they can get hacked, or basically anything can happen with an exchange, right? And it's like the saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. So with a cold wallet, you have the keys, and it's your crypto, you own it. It's also safer because it's offline. So you could use something like a Tangent wallet or a Ledger. I don't know. Something like that would work. Whatever you choose to go to, as long as it's a cold wallet. You don't have to buy thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin. You don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. Some people think you have to buy an entire Bitcoin. They're like, oh, it's at 94,000. That's too expensive. I can't buy it. No, that's not how Bitcoin works. You can buy a fraction. They're called, or you can even buy Satoshis, which is like the smallest fraction of a Bitcoin that you can get, which is, I don't even know how much a Satoshi's worth, but it's very little, right? But you got to think about it, right? If the big players like BlackRock and all these big hedge funds are getting into crypto, like in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this stuff, and then the retail investors, the people that usually always end up losing money, are calling it a scam, or they're getting scared, or there's just a lot of panic selling going on, and and then the hedge funds are buying. What do you want to be doing? Do you want to do what the multi-million-dollar hedge funds are doing, or do you want to do what the retail investors are doing, the people that usually always lose money? Think about it, I don't want to tell you guys how to think. I want to provide the information to you, and then you can make your own decision. I recommend everybody does their own research. Don't just listen to me. Go watch some other videos. Go research some more. I'm not the end-all be-all. I don't know everything. I don't claim to be a guru. I'm not a guru. I don't know everything. I'm just some guy that you know, is passionate about crypto and finance and stocks. And I'm just talking about it here on YouTube. That's basically it, guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end of the video, really appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about crypto. Do you guys think it's a scam? Just let me know what you think.